Hello friends! Donald Trump and Elon Musk have clashed, deepening the correction in the crypto market. We're Crypto Potato, I am Dimitar, and in today's video we'll analyze how the once good relationship between the two fell apart. We'll also focus on other interesting topics like the latest actions of the European Central Bank, Circle's performance on its stock market debut, and something curious about the lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for supporting our channel. Every subscription with the bell or a like on our videos helps us a lot, so thanks again. Now let's get started. Without wasting any more time, let's dive into the hottest topic of the last 24 hours. The conflict between US President Donald Trump and one of the richest people on the planet, Elon Musk. It all began with Musk criticizing Trump's new legislation, after which the president threatened to terminate government contracts with Musk's companies like SpaceX, whose success heavily depends on federal funding. In response, Musk called for Trump's impeachment and threatened to accelerate the decommissioning of the Dragon spacecraft, crucial for missions to the International Space Station. However, he later softened his tone. Meanwhile, Musk hinted without evidence at Trump's connection to the investigations surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, further escalating tensions. The White House reacted cautiously, trying to minimize the scandal. Trump also attempted to ease tensions by avoiding public comments about Musk and shifting focus to his new legislation. The two had once been close. Musk even held a special position in Trump's administration, leading the government cost-cutting agency called Doge. Now, however, their cooperation appears permanently severed. It's possible that this fight could affect the Republican Party, as Musk might financially back opposition candidates. Democrats are watching the conflict from the sidelines, hoping it will weaken Trump's political standing. Almost inevitably following the tension between them, financial and crypto markets registered significant losses. Bitcoin temporarily plunged below $101,000 but later climbed back to around $103,000. Ethereum dropped to about $2,400 while XRP fell to $2.13. Among the worst performing leading altcoins on a daily basis was Dogecoin, falling about 7% to 17 cents. This price action isn't surprising given Musk's well-known support for the meme coin, and, as we mentioned earlier, the division he led had the same initials as Doge. The total liquidated positions over the past 24 hours due to the correction reached almost $1 billion, with Bitcoin trades accounting for about one-third of that amount. The largest single liquidation occurred on the BitMEX platform, totaling $10 million. And more than 220,000 traders were liquidated overall. Among them was the high-risk trader James Wynn, who lost over $20 million after opening yet another high-leverage long Bitcoin position. Let's leave Musk, Trump and the red crypto market behind and move on to other curious topics. Yesterday, the European Central Bank once again cut its key interest rates, lowering them to 2%, the lowest level since early 2023. This is the bank's 8th consecutive rate cut, contrasting with the US Federal Reserve, which hasn't changed rates after 2 cuts in late 2024. The reason is the slowing inflation in the Eurozone, despite risks like President Trump's threat to new trade tariffs. Following the rate cut news, Bitcoin immediately reacted with a $1,000 jump, but as we mentioned earlier, later declined. Meanwhile, Trump continues to pressure Fed Chair Jerome Powell to start cutting rates in the US, warning of a macroeconomic crisis risk if action isn't taken soon. Currently, US interest rates remain in the range of 4.25–4.50%. A potential cut would make borrowing cheaper and could increase interest in risk assets like Bitcoin. According to Polymarket, the chances of at least one Fed rate cut by the end of this year are 26%. Now, focus on Circle. The company behind the USDC stablecoin made an impressive debut on the New York Stock Exchange, with its share price jumping by 170% from the initial IPO price of $31 to $83. Circle raised nearly $1.1 billion by listing 34 million shares under the ticker CRCL. This gave the company a market capitalization of over $18 billion, significantly below Coinbase's 2021 debut at $85 billion, but above eToro and Fold. On the other hand, Robinhood started its public offering with a drop of 8%. Analysts believe Circle's successful IPO could spark a new wave of funding and mergers in the crypto sector by providing liquidity to early investors and boosting confidence in future public offerings. Additionally, Circle's strong performance reflects the growing interest in crypto firms, especially against the backdrop of a more crypto-friendly policy environment under President Trump's administration. For dessert, let's track how the Ripple SEC lawsuit is progressing. In May, Judge Torres rejected the joint request by both parties for a guidance ruling that aimed to overturn a previous court order and reduce Ripple's fine from $125 million to $50 million. The judge cited a procedural error. The request was not filed correctly. Fred Rispoli, an American attorney, recently stated that neither the SEC nor Ripple has filed a new motion in district court so far, and the deadline for such action is June 16. If no pending motion exists before Judge Torres by then, the appellate court will proceed based solely on the prior denial and restart the appeal process. However, if a new motion is filed in time, the deadlines could be extended by another 2 months. The key question now is what the next steps will be. Analysts note that Judge Torres sent a clear message: both the SEC and Ripple must demonstrate repentance. Ripple will likely make the necessary concessions to finalize the procedure, but it's unclear how much public humiliation the SEC will be willing to accept and whether they'll get political authorization to do so. Less than 2 weeks remain to see whether the parties will reach a settlement or if the legal battle will continue with new complications. That's all for today, friends. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.